So Stefanos Tsitsipas and Jeremy Chardy, they're facing off in the first round of Roland Garros. Now Tsitsipas this year actually had he had a good season. He won Lyon recently. He defeated Nori in the final, and he only dropped one set to setting the semis. So he has had a good season so far. In Italy, he also reached the quarterfinals. He almost beat Djokovic in that quarterfinal. It was the one that had like a rain delay, so he did well there. In Madrid, he lost. So at first, he was doing really well, especially in Monte Carlo and Barcelona. Then he did have some disappointing, but not bad losses. Madrid is a good clay court player, and Djokovic also is the world number one, so no shame. And in Lyon, he bounced back, winning that tournament. So he is playing really well now, and now he is one of the favorites for the French Open behind Nadal and Djokovic. That's a good sign for him. Now his opponent was actually having a renaissance after a 2020 season where he didn't do so well. Chardy, he actually was having a renaissance. He made the semifinals of Antalya, the semifinals of the tune-up event to the Australian Open, to the Murray River Open, and he also reached the quarterfinals in Rotterdam and the quarterfinals in Dubai. So his opponent was actually having the renaissance, but when the clay court season swung, it actually kind of took a cool. He kind of cooled down when the clay court season arrived. He lost a little early in Barcelona. In Estoril, he lost to Davidovich Fokina. In Madrid, he also lost to Evans in 3 sets. And in Belgrade, he lost to Lajovic. So he cooled down with the clay court swing. But he is playing at home, so that's something to note. Now, they have met before, I believe. They've met a bunch of times there, and Tsitsipas leads 2-1 in the head-to-head. They met on grass. Tsitsipas won that one in 3 sets. In Basel, Tsitsipas won that one in straight sets. That was in 2018. And in Montpellier, Chardy won that one in 3 sets. Now, they met in 2 challenger events, and they split the head-to-head 1-1 in those, and both of those were won in straight sets by Tsitsipas and Chardy respectively. The one in 2016 was won by Chardy. In 2017, he was won by Tsitsipas. So my prediction, I think that Tsitsipas will win this. I think that while Chardy is playing well, he's not in this. He doesn't look like he's in the same form that he was in the beginning of the year. And Tsitsipas also is a great player as well. He's one of the favorites for this tournament. So I'm going to pick Tsitsipas to win this one. I think he's going to win this in straight sets. I think it's going to be tight sets because Chardy can be a tough opponent, but 3 tight sets is my prediction for this match. So Alexander Zverev and Oscar Otte, they're facing off in the first round of the French Open. Now Zverev this year has actually had a great year. He won Madrid Madrid again because he won it before. He won, and he defeated some good players. He defeated Dominic Thiem. He defeated Rafa in straight sets, and he defeated Dan Evans. So he played extremely well in that tournament. He won a Masters tournament. He also managed to make the quarterfinals of Rome. He made the quarterfinals of his home tournament, and he also made the quarterfinal of the Australian Open. So he is in good form, and he is slowly becoming more consistent little by little. So that's a good sign to see. Now, his opponent, in contrast, hasn't been in his best form. His opponent had to qualify for this event, but his opponent has actually lost at some challenger events before. But he did do well recently and made the final of the challenger in Prague. So he did show that he's getting better. He did make the final, and he lost to Greek Sport in 3 sets. But he beat some decent players and some experienced players in that tournament. So he is in good form at the moment. He wasn't, but now he is in good form now, combined with the qualifying. So he could pose a couple questions if he continues that form. Now, I don't think they've ever met before. So I think they have a 0-0 head-to-head, yes. Now, I think that Zverev will win this in straight sets. I think that his opponent, once again, his opponent may be older than him, but his opponent isn't as experienced still as Zverev is. He is more experienced in terms of age, but in terms of matches and stuff, he hasn't played as much matches at the ATP level as Zverev has. So I'm going to pick Zverev to win this in straight, simply due to the experience and to the better clay court record. So Hubert Hurkacz and Van de Zandschulp, they're facing off in the first round of the French Open. Now, Hubert Hurkacz, he's had a good season this year, but not so much on the clay courts. On the hard courts, he won a title in Miami, his first Masters title, so that was a good season for him. But on the clay courts, he hasn't done so well. He lost early in Monte Carlo to Evans. In Madrid, he lost to Millman, and then he also lost in Italy to Musetti, and he had to withdraw in that match. So he's not had his best form on the clay courts, and to be honest, clay doesn't really suit his game. He has flat strokes. He doesn't really have great movement, so it doesn't really suit his play style. So it's going to be important to see, can he bounce back? And he has a kind opener here, but he can still be tested because Van de Zandschulp is capable and has the advantage of match play since he actually played on the courts in qualifying. Now his opponent Van de Zandschulp, he had to qualify for this match. He beat Mayer, a good clay court specialist. He beat a French player in the second round, and he also beat Marchenko in the last qualifying round. So he is in decent form, and he is definitely one to watch out for because he can definitely do damage if he's playing well. In the beginning of the year, he reached the quarterfinals of the tune-up event and the Great Ocean Road Open. He also had match points against Hashanov, I think. So he definitely can do a little bit of damage. He can test Hurkacz if he's playing well. Now, they've never met before, so they have a 0-0 head-to-head. Now, I think that Hurkacz will win this. I think that while Van de Zandschulp is capable, I think Hurkacz will win this. I think it's going to be 4 sets because Hurkacz is not in his best form. I think that the qualifier can sneak a set. But I think that Hurkacz will get this done in the end. So I'm going to pick Hurkacz to win this in 4 sets.